So I'm going to close that out. So let's talk about the ROI of having your own. Let's talk about having the ROI of your own PBX versus doing cloud hosted. And I have done more ROIs. And by the way, if you need a free ROI analysis, go to williehowe.com, fill out the contact form. We will do a free ROI analysis for you about, is it cheaper for you, total cost of ownership, to be in the cloud with the phone system, or is total cost of ownership cheaper to have on-prem? And we talk about the pros and cons. But in the last 3 weeks, James and I have done more ROI turnarounds in the last 3 weeks than we have done than we did last quarter, right? So people are definitely starting to see the value well, they know the value, but they're seeing like the monetary value of keeping it on site as well, because once you get in the cloud, that's when you figure out how expensive it is. And that's the whole downside to the cloud. And plus the security it can be poor and things like that. And when people always ask me, well, it's, cloud security is awesome and everything. Well, ask Capital One how AWS's security worked out for them. If you can touch a box, you can own it. And that's end of story. So, all right, so let's see. All right, so we're going to use Ring Central because we've been doing more ROIs against Ring Central and Nextiva or whatever they are than you can shake a stick at, right? So let's look at the pricing for small business on Ring Central. We're going to do an ROI live here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do Essentials. It's the cheapest package that they provide. So you're going to get $19.99 a month plus tax. So I usually tell people when you're figuring telecom taxes, I would figure on about 13%, right? That's a good safe estimate. So you get everything. This is in the cloud. By the way, if it goes down, yes, they can forward to a cell phone, but if you're using Telnix or VoIP.ms, any of those other companies that we recommend, they can all do that. If your trunk goes down to your system, they can forward to a cell phone automatically. So there's really not, unless you're using a very niche product that Ring Central provides, there's really no advantage, and we'll get into that here. So I'm going to run this over on, this is EtherCalc, which is just a free web-based spreadsheet. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this item, we're going to call this Ring Central item price. I'm doing this live, so most of the time I have a template for this that we use, but you don't get to see all of the things. And this is going to be Grandstream on PREM. All right. So one of the first things that, oh man. All right. Anyway, I'm going to have to deal with that. That's going to bother me too. All right. So anyway, let's say we need 10 phone lines. All right. So they had, apparently it was $29.99 at some point, and now it is $19.99 monthly per user. All right, so we're going to say we need 10 phone lines. So we're going to need phones times 10. And with Ring Central, you can either rent your phones, which is, I don't think that leasing a phone for $4 a month makes sense. So I would rather just buy it outright. So let's see if we can find the Ring Central phones. And by the way, every time you do anything with anytime that you do anything with a Ring Central or any of these hosted platforms, they're going to nickel and dime you for absolutely everything that they can. And their customer service is going to be so, but anyway, like a vanity number, they charge you $30. Additional toll-free or local numbers, $4.99 a month. So they really start nickel and diming you. But let's see if we can find the phones. I may actually have to do a search for it. So let's see. Let's do Ring Central phones. let's see. Here we go. So we'll just do a desk phone, and we'll just do the least inexpensive phone that they offer, which right now is on sale for $89. And compared to what you can get for that same price range with a Grandstream, this thing is laughable. So what we're going to do is we are going to come over here and we're going to say phones times 10, right? So this right here is going to be equals sum 10 times 89. Okay, so there's $890 for these cheap Polycom phones. All right, and it's only 10100 Ethernet. Okay, so what phone are we going to use for this? And I'm just using this as an example. We are going to use the GXP 2170, which is, if you've ever talked to me, this is one of my go-to handsets. And right now I can get it for $87 and free shipping. And this is a gorgeous phone, a beautiful phone. It will do everything that you want, right? So let's hop over here and we're going to do, we'll put this actually needs to go over here under Ring Central. So that's $890 for the phones there. And it'll be $870 for the Grandstream phones. And you get way more functionality out of this. You get 12 lines, 6 SIP accounts, and you're not tied into Ring Central. So what Ring Central doesn't tell you is they're going to tie these phones to their service. So they're probably not going to be able to be used anywhere else unless you know how to take their custom firmware off of it. You got a beautiful background on this. Dual gigabit ports, PoE. You can put a sidecar on it. Fantastic phone. All right, so out of the gate, right now, we're already $20 cheaper, right? So now we're going to do monthly cost. Oh, I'm sorry. I still have to add the actual PBX. So with Ring Central, it's hosted. So you don't get the PBX charge. But with Grandstream and any on-prem, we're going to need an on-prem. And if you're not going to have copper, we can just use a 6202. So $214 and free shipping. Okay, so far, I mean, Grandstream is a little bit more expensive. So now we're going to look at our monthly recurring. And with Ring Central, it's going to be $19.99 a month times 10 because you got 10 handsets. So that's going to be equals sum $19.99 times 10. So monthly, it's going to be $199.90, and then be prepared to see tax on that. We won't deal with the tax at the moment. We're just going to deal with the numbers that we can actually see here. So now we're going to go over to Telnex. And plus, also, this doesn't count any of the costs that might be incurred to port your phone numbers in or any of that. So this is just very limited what they'll give you. You can get them on the phone. They'll give you a song and dance and all that stuff. We are transparent, and we give you all of this up front. So, all right. So Telnex is our go-to for SIP trunking, and you can do it a couple different ways. You can get an unlimited trunk for $12 a month, but you can only have one call path, or you can do what they call like elastic SIP trunking, and you pay as you go. And we will do this. We will look at the highest cost on this, which would be 0.0075 cents per minute. I also don't know what Ring Central's E911 is. I don't know if that's built into this or not. If anybody can tell me, actually, hold on, emergency calling. What would be hilarious is if Ring Central doesn't provide emergency calling, or if you have to pay more for emergency calling, because that's just sad if you're going to hold people hostage with emergency calling. So I'm not seeing anything about emergency calling here. Let me, real quick, I'm trying to give Ring Central the benefit of the doubt. Emergency. I don't see emergency, so they don't talk about emergency calling. So if anybody knows Ring Central's emergency calling price or anything, put that in the comments, please. So I'm going to give you in this spreadsheet. So here's what we're going to do. We got to start a Telnex tab over here. So for every phone number that you're going to have, it's going to be $1 a month. and it's free to port it in. So port charge is 0. So Telnex port equals 0. DID equals $1 a month. So if you've got 10 phones and you need one phone number, that's $1 a month. Then E911 is going to be $1.50 a month. So out of the gate with Telnex, you're sitting at $2.50. Okay, so let's move this down here. Usage. Okay, so our very first monthly charge is $2.50 just to have your DID sitting there with E911 on it. So let's say we use 10,000 minutes a month. At the highest rate, right? So let's say that these are all inbound and we're not terminating those calls out, which those are cheaper. So now we're at $75 a month. So now we're at $77.50 a month. Okay. So, and that's in all of those, because we're using that elastic trunk, all 10 of those phones could be making calls. All right. So this is going to be based on 10,000 minutes a month. Okay, so your first year with Ring Central, this is minimum, by the way, with Ring Central, because I don't know all the hidden costs and I don't know all of the gotchas, but with Telnex and with GrandStream, I can tell you every single price up front. And let's say for a 10 phone system, let's say that we charge $600 for the setup. So we'll add that over here. So that's going to be your first year cost as well. Okay. All right. So first year for Ring Central is going to be equal sum C2. I'm going to need another one of these. C2. Actually, let's do this. Equals sum. You're seeing that I haven't had enough coffee yet. 199.9 times 12. So your service is just, it's $2,398.80. And so then what we've got to do is we've got to do equal sum, and we'll do C5 plus C2. So your very first year with Ring Central, which by the way, you don't really have full control over this hardware. This is your total first year. $3,288.80. Now on the GrandStream side, we're going to do equal sum 77.50 plus or times 12, right? So $930. So now we're going to do equal sum is going to be D2 plus D3 plus D5 plus $600 for the setup. And so your first year with your own on-prem phone system based on 10,000 minutes per month is only going to cost you $2,614. And then every year after, so now what we're going to do is following years. This is going to be at least, because I'm sure they're going to raise their rates because they have to do that. And Telnex may raise their rates. But then after this, then you clearly see that you own the hardware. You can get support wherever you want. You can take your phones wherever you want. Not only is it cheaper in year one, then the following years are also much, 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 much more inexpensive. And so it is really a no-brainer. Because if your internet goes down using Telnex or using VoIP.ms, we can set it up so it forwards to a cell phone. Ring Central can do the exact same thing. Unless you're using one of those niche products, there is absolutely no advantage. If you have somebody who understands how to do voice over IP for you, there's absolutely no advantage to going with the Ring Central unless you need one of those niche products. And we can train you on how to make simple system changes and maintain the system yourself in just a couple of hours, because the system is so intuitive. So you can clearly see that having an on-prem phone system is clearly clearly the way to go. So if there are any questions about that, I would be more than happy. And it looks like somebody has hopped in and taken this and is maybe I don't know what's going on there. Interesting. So I don't know if this is shared, if you guys have copied this URL, if somebody else is hopping in there or what. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close this down. But you can see that it is definitely very advantageous. Now, you're saying to yourself, Willie, what if we use more than 10,000 minutes a month? I just did an ROI calculation last night for a company that does 25,000 minutes a month on 8 handsets, and we were still cheaper by 50%, even with the setup. And so it's really a no-brainer when you start looking at the ROI of having a PBX on site. It really, it's even if you have to pay somebody a couple hours to train you on how to maintain it, it still makes more sense. All right, we are going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you everybody for being here. If you celebrate Easter this weekend, I hope you have a good time. If you don't celebrate, that's awesome too. Whatever you do, be an awesome person, be nice to people, and hang in there. And we are all in this together, but we are getting through this. So I am going to take this video. I'm going to carve up a few other videos actually out of this one. So you'll see me posting those throughout the weekend. So I want to thank everybody for being here. And as always, I will see you in the next video.